Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of BPM, Beers Per Minute. As you notice, we're missing two people, but we have a new one. This is Mr. Jeremiah Hughes.
How's it going?
Local comedian from the great, well, not great city of Aberdeen, but Aberdeen.
It's got a rap, that's for sure.
So, wanted to have you on because I saw you at Wildman in Raymond, and you're hilarious.
Thank you,
you're great,
man.
great
I
comedian.
appreciate that. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I like your style and your delivery is very good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I wanted to ask you, how did you get started in it? What made you want to go?
What made me
comedy?
want to try
Yeah.
comedy? I hadn't seen a stand-up show until over the age of 21. I hadn't went to a live show. I always kind of watched it on on demand. You know, everyone's always seen the stand-up thing, and I always liked it. I was always goofy and silly, but I never officially went to a show. So me and my buddy, we went to our favorite comedian at the time show, maybe 2017, Mark Norman. You know Mark Norman? Everyone at home.
I think
He's irreverent, so if you're younger, proceed with caution. But he's a goofy guy.
I've heard the name.
That's the guy I went to go see, and we were way far in the back, and he was doing his thing, and we were laughing our asses off. And in hindsight, I think he had kind of a rougher show. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, carbonation.
I'd go for it.
I think he had, in hindsight, knowing more about comedy, I think he had a bit more of a rough show because he didn't even hang out and shake hands and stuff like that, which normally he does from following him as a fan. Mm-hmm. But I saw that, and Anthony and I fell in love with comedy because we were like, wow, there he is doing it right there. We can go see people like this. This is awesome, So we started going to shows more. We got a really good taste for it. We saw the Tacoma Comedy Club had open mics. Well, we wanted to go there and check it out, We're like, well, maybe we're funny, maybe we could. And we kind of did the whole chicken thing where it's like, well, I'll go up if you go up kind of thing, And we just kind of chickened ourselves into signing up for the monthly thing.
Oh,
then
awesome.
We each got on a week after each other, and we're like, oh, we need to actually put together material. And then, I kind of fast forwarded a little bit because the pandemic, COVID and everything.
Yeah.
So we never actually made it to the club until after it reopened. So I had the pandemic. This is a big chunk to have skipped over. But we were talking about going, and then everything shut down rather fast here in Washington. I was in a mosh pit the week before everything shut down. I'm sure people don't want to hear about COVID. But
I was supposed to go to see the Acacia Strain when they said everything's locked down. 2 days. And I was like, oh.
It's good that it's not now. It's good that life's back to normal.
I'm actually going to my very first concert, the first, which is awesome. It's Dusty Cubby, the guys that do our theme song.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love them now. They're so cool. They're such a good band. Check them out.
I will check them out, absolutely.
Back to your story.
No problem.
Yeah.
So I had the time to actually sit there and write what I thought was funny, and I gathered about 5 minutes. The thing that really helped me, I think, was I stumbled across some Zoom-style comedy app that kind of fed my little appetite of writing. I could kind of find what was a decent little joke. So by the time stuff opened back up, I had a, decent little set. Now, the crowd that came out the opening month that it opened was 120 people in Tacoma Comedy Club, dude. It was
and that place is
a lot of
pretty
people.
small.
Yeah, and they were ready to laugh. So I went up there, obviously recorded my set, and did my material and did rather well. Especially for my first time. I didn't even mention that it was my first time, so I didn't get I thought that was kind of hack. Yeah, I thought that was kind of hack. Even day one to go up there and go, oh, it's my first time, because people are they're gonna be like, oh yeah, you are great, and I just wanted to see if it was funny. I wanted to see if I liked it because I heard bunch of comics say that if you try it, you'll know right away if you like it or not. I think that was Bill Burr saying that. Yeah. He's like, try it one time and you'll know.
You'll know if
it's for you because you'll love it. And if you're like, it's probably not for you because it sucks. But if you do it and you're like, that's my thing, which I did, and I was like, this is it, Awesome. But I had a really good set my first time. Point being, because people were there ready to laugh. I recorded it, put it on Reddit naively, and people were actually really nice. They were like, that was a good crowd. They were really hot for you. They really liked you. And in hindsight, that was a really good first set to ever have, because a lot of people's first sets, they eat it, they die, they bomb.
Yep.
And so that gave me the bug right away, where I was like, oh, I'm good at this. And then I wasn't, obviously.
Right.
So then I went to like the first mic with like only 8 comics, and then I wanted to kill myself afterwards because it was horrible.
Yeah.
But not actually, don't do that.
What's your worst, like, bomb?
Comics tell me, oh, you haven't bombed yet. I feel like it's kind of a
You
like
have to. It
pee
happens.
contest almost, where it's like, oh, you haven't bombed like I bombed or things. But people have told me like, oh, you haven't really bombed. I've had rough shows where there was like 8 people in the crowd, and they kind of disengaged halfway through, but still laughed at things. I'd get them back halfway, but they didn't laugh at every joke that I told. And I was like, I bombed.
Yeah.
And there was a comic like, they didn't walk out, they didn't boo. You had 8 people. You did fine. Like both people told me that. So I'm always hard on myself.
Yeah,
I'm never happy with the set that I had, So even if, there's times where you got to relish in it. You're like, that was pretty good. I like that. It felt good, But most of the time, I can always pick what I hate about it. It's such an important thing to me that I want to take it so seriously.
Right.
That, you got to. You got to find something to improve on. It's never done. A joke's never done. It never ends. So that's what I like about it, though. Is you can always keep crafting things.
Yeah,
so.
and you can change things up. Like I saw Chad Daniels. He's one of my favorites. Like,
he's good, yeah.
I kind of like was getting me more into starting to write some more jokes because I've seen him twice. He was actually my first show, was him, at the Tacoma Comedy Club.
Nice.
And it was like right after they opened, too.
Was it a hot show?
It was awesome. It was so good. I sat like pretty much this close to him. And it was just so good.
Did you have that fanboy moment where you're like, there he is?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to like scream out some stuff. I was like, nope, hey, no, don't embarrass yourself.
Yep.
Because I listen to his podcast, too. I love his podcast, Middle of Somewhere. If you haven't listened to it, you check it out.
I'll check it out, yeah.
It is superb.
Him
and Cy Amundsen. It's really good.
I have a really funny story that I can tell later about me embarrassing myself in front of Mark Norman, which he'll probably never remember or anything like that, but it's a kind of a funny story.
We can tag him.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he'll hear it, but probably not. I was at his Netflix filming in Manhattan. I actually flew from where I live in Aberdeen, Washington, to Manhattan, because I like applied to be in it, and then I got this thing that was like semi like, hey, yeah, you've been accepted, maybe you'll make it. It was really up in the air. I can't remember exactly because it was a little while ago. And I don't know if I can say this on the pod, but I had a bunch of weed before this because I don't drink, but I do pot. So, I had like, I ate like 120 milligrams. So, I don't remember the exact date, we're having a fun time. But, whenever his Netflix special was, it was pretty recently. It was after everything opened up. I think it was 2021.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it was recent. It was in August. I remember that. So yeah, it was August 2021.
Maybe it might be on my list too.
It was great. Anyway,
cool.
The point being, I flew over there. It was like, yes, we got in, because it was kind of up in the air, and it was like, yeah, you got in. So we walked up and down and up and down and waiting, and I got great seats. I'm actually like, if you watch Netflix, like you can see my dumb face with my girlfriend, like. Awesome. Watching him. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Cool. I was like, yeah, I've appeared on Netflix, jokingly with my friends,
Hey, I showed up in, what was it? I think it was one of like AFI's videos from Bumbershoot or something like that. I'm like, there I am, right there in the crowd.
Yeah, and then I was sitting right by where he comes out and comes back.
Oh, nice.
And so we had this moment where he had a great set, and he's walking off, and we make eye contact, and he goes, comedy, and I do, nice. And I go to him, and he does it back, and we have this moment. I'm like, yes, Mark, I f***ing love it, yeah. And I do the stupid thing where I'm like, Nux, bro.
Oh, no.
Because his fist is already up, and he just walks right past me. I'm like, what the what are you doing, man? Come on, Nux. He's on TV. He's on Netflix. He's not going to bump your Nux. You're a dumbass. Or you're an idiot.
But, you missed 100% of the shots you don't take. What if he would have done it?
He's like, hey, he takes his hat off, throws it here. Take this,
you
kid.
Never know.
Kind of thing.
Something,
I don't know. He wasn't wearing
I've
a
met
hat,
quite a few people. I met, the band Stabbing Westward? They're like 90s electronica rock. They're really good. they had another band called The Dreaming, and I got to meet them, like hang out with them after their shows, like for like a couple hours, and got onto like a first name basis with them.
That's really cool.
And it's just because I was like, hey, can I buy you a beer?
Yeah.
And then from that point on, they told all these stories from like the 90s of when they thought they were like huge. And Johnny Harrow said he was like walking down the streets of LA with like 2 girls on his arms, and then he's got this 16-year-old kid like holding all of their coats and purses and everything, like his squire following him around. But
yeah,
you never know unless you try.
Well, I've met him a couple times just in the meet, because most of the time he does meet and greets, and I've went to tons of Mark's shows before. Look at me calling him Mark, like we're best pals. No, but I've taken pictures with him. I bought a shirt from him and took a picture with him. We've shook hands. I've said hi. Mm-hmm. He said nice eyes. Nice. Thank you. But it was a fun time. He's a nice guy. But that was just such an embarrassing moment. He'll probably never remember it. He'll never hear this. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But to me, it was that moment where you kind of slipped and fell. And someone saw you fall. Yeah. And you're like, oh, it's so much more embarrassing now. Yep. And my girlfriend saw me go for the. It was
instantly flush, and you're like,
oh man, I was like, we're not doing the. Mm-mm. Yeah, not anymore. Yeah, that's.
You know what? I bet if like you get big enough, and you meet actually do something with it, he might remember.
No, it'll be hilarious.
Those will be the ones that they do remember. Because that's how I met the Dreaming guys. Is first show I went to, my brother and sister-in-law were engaged, ready to be married. So they just sat in the back and were just holding each other the whole time. So when I saw them again, I'm like, hey, you probably don't remember me. The people back there was like, oh yeah, that freaky making out couple. Yeah, I remember you guys. Yep, that was us.
Well, maybe he'll remind me, or maybe he'll remember me as the weird guy that went in for Nux during his moment in the Super Bowl, where he was like, "It's not about you, dude." Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just a dumb thing where I was like, "Oh, my comedy guy, yeah." He really looks up to Seinfeld, which Seinfeld's great.
Oh yeah.
But Seinfeld was in the 90s when I was born, which Seinfeld's great, but it's more current for him. He's my Seinfeld, mm-hmm. Where I love his writing. I love everything about the guy.
Biggest influence then?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm afraid that I'm constantly doing him, which I'm not trying to do. I just naturally sound like this. Yeah. And I'm a stoner. So, but yeah, I love how he writes. I like how edgy he is. I like that he goes up and bats for comedy, because a lot of people are really sensitive now. Yeah. And, a lot of people claim to like comedy and they don't actually like comedy because they can't take a joke,
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like, whoa, come on. It's funny until it comes around to you. If you can't take a joke, if you don't have thick skin, maybe comedy isn't for you.
Yeah, I mean, you have those guys that do push the line a bit.
Oh, yes. There's always outliers on
Louis
every
C.K.
side.
I love Louis C.K., but he's always got one or two that's that was just over the line, man.
Line's different for everybody.
It is.
True. I feel like comedy is a lot like pornography, too. Mm-hmm. Sorry for the crude analogy. But it's the more you experience it, mm-hmm. the more it takes to really get you there. Yeah. And same with comedy. Yeah. And so a lot of the times comics have real dark, weird senses of humor because knock-knocks don't do it for us anymore. You know what I'm saying? So when a comic's up there and he's riffing off someone really, really hard, and it's like, well, how did you think of that? Well, they practice that all the time. To them, that wasn't even really that funny. That was just off the top, So their brains, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. There's some comedians.
It takes more, I guess, yeah.
Like Tom Segura, he's got some good bits.
Oh, yeah, he can go dark.
But he gets a bit dirty for me.
Yeah.
He just pushes that line from, and I don't like.
You might not like Mark Norman.
I mean, it depends on what it is, though, because one of my favorite. I said Louis C.K. is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because I love Louis.
And
he's great.
He's the only one that came forth when all that stuff happened and said, I apologize and I didn't realize that this stuff happened, and he's the only one that got canned because of that. Which is crazy. People throw around the world, he's genius,
but he's a fucking genius at comedy, dude. What he did with his show, Louis, and did stand-up at the same time, and just look into Louis C.K. I don't need to sing his praises. He's a he's a legend. Yeah, he really is a genius, and he can really toe a line to where almost like it can really turn people off.
Yep.
There's even some things that don't date well from him, but most comedy doesn't date well because the line's always moving, you know, and everyone has that different line, you know.
It's like
because if you look back at Pryor or Eddie Murphy, that would never fly now.
I have one of Pryor's albums.
Yeah,
and on vinyl.
So you know, the line's always moving here and there, and it'll, you know, hopefully it comes back a little bit, and then it'll go back, and you know, hopefully that's how it works. Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt.
Chad's last show, his last tour, he called it the Mixed Reviews Tour, because he had a lot of different opinions. Like, he brought out his book, and he had like this side and this side, and he's like, see, you guys didn't like that joke. That's going on the negative side of this thing then.
Fair enough, yeah.
So, and you're talking about reworking your jokes and things. The more you do it, it's like the first time I saw Chad, and it was really funny when he told it, because he told it on his podcast. I just heard it like that week about a story about his daughter, and they had a fight or something, and then he basically chased after her, and she thought he was somebody chasing her. And the way he said it in the first show, it was funny, it was good. But then he reworked it for the last time, and it made it so much better because he added a couple other little details, and it just killed. The whole place just went off.
Mm-hmm. And that's the whole little thing is, can I change a word? Can I cut a word out here? You know, the infamous, is waffle funnier than pancake? You know, there's like just words that are more funny than other words. Fart's just a funny word, you know?
Of course, yeah.
Anytime you can use the word fart, I love it, you know? But I got a real silly sense of humor. I'm like the silly, lovably obnoxious comic, you know, where you're like, come on. That's silly, you know, but that's my whole thing. I don't like to do politics. I don't like to do race. I don't like to do stuff because the world is full of stress.
Oh yeah, it's already
and it's killing us. The stress is killing us. So I feel like you're there. People go to comedy. Us comedians can forget that people go to comedy to forget about bad stuff, to have fun, you know, to enjoy joy, to feel joy so much that it falls out of their head. Like there's little feelings that you can feel, especially aside from sex, that can feel so good that you go, ah! Yeah. You know, like that's a powerful thing that you can give someone. And a lot of people use that to sneak their feelings about politics and stuff in there, and you know, comedians can do that, and that's a fine thing for them. But what I want to do is just provide silly fun, at least for right now. Who knows? Carlin started silly and then went really political at the end.
And he did, his stuff was pretty on point though.
I'm not saying he was wrong.
That's the thing, you adapt to your surroundings too.
I think a lot of mainstream people that like comedy and stuff get into comedy or watch comedy when they feel bad to feel better. Yeah. You're never like on top of the world, like, let's watch a comedy special. You know, everything's going great.
I mean, sometimes.
Please. But a lot of the times when I do it, I'm like, I need a laugh. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm never like too down in the dumps or anything like that, where I'm like crying, like, I need to watch comedy right now, or you know, that'd be weird. But you know, when you're kind of on the verge and you're like, it's kind of glum out. You know, put a special on your laugh, and you're like, I'll go call buddy. You know, just kind of turns your mood around, at least for me personally. Maybe I'm just speaking.
I do the same thing with like Spotify and stuff. I'll just throw on a comedy album, just because it's great, you know. And you don't have to be doing anything, really. Yeah. You just, you know, you fiddle with something, and then just have that go in the background, and you'll pick up on the things that make you laugh. Like, you won't even hear the last 20 minutes of it, but that 1-2 minute joke, like, you pick that one out, and that just makes your day so much better.
Exactly. It's like kind of you were calling back to Dave Grohl about like just that little bit is all that matters. You know, just like that made my day. That's all. That's what it's all about. You know?
Have you listened to his book, or did you know he wrote a book?
No.
It's called Storyteller, and he does the audiobook for it too. Awesome. Like, I'd give it a listen. It's so good because he's got so much passion for everything, and the way he talks about his kids and doing different things for different shows and things. It's really, really like inspiring. It's really good.
Dig it. I'll have to check that out too. Also, Dave Grohl is also a great way to call anybody with long hair and a goatee. Right. It's just a I'm sure anyone with that look gets it all the time. Yep. We had a guy when I lived in Olympia that lived in the apartment complex that looked like Dave Grohl. And we literally just called him Dave Grohl. Like, even to his face. We're like, hey, Dave Grohl, get over here.
Come here.
He just answered to it. It was a sad curse for that man. He probably got it everywhere.
I had somebody say that I looked like David Arquette. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, okay, I think.
I get
maybe?
Mac Miller a lot.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. A little bit. Thank you. Yes, please. That was the waitress.
Great service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this place is awesome, and like this is where we're going to be doing most all of our guests.
Nice.
And just because it's so private,
Spacious,
even though you
yeah.
have some, audio texture.
I went in to the front. I don't know if I should give too much away, but there was a bunch of people. I was like, geez, whiz, must be good soundproofing or something. And then I saw you back here. I was like, that makes sense.
Well,
the waitress sat me down. She was going to try to feed me a real meal. Sorry.
Last time we were here, we had people just like wander in and be like, oh yeah, look,
Start playing pool.
Area. And we're like, hi.
We do lakeside chats for our Patreon at Wired.
Oh yeah,
and
you
Weird.
want plug your stuff too. What's the name of your podcast?
I do a podcast that I host with another friend of mine. Very funny guy, Stephen Eddy. He was supposed to do comedy with me. Come on, Stephen. Go to stand-up. Come on. We were going to do it.
Do it.
But
I'm going to try.
We started together. He was like, yeah, we're stand-up comedians. Let's do this podcast together. And then, he has a family. He has a real family. So,
yeah.
I mean, he's got kids and stuff, so I get it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Just playful. If he sees this, which he probably will, he'll just laugh. I've been trying to get him out for a million years. But we, when we started the podcast, we were both, like loving comedy, and he's a comedian in the own regard, where he's a podcaster. Like he doesn't have to do stand up like I do. He's a very funny guy. We have a podcast called Wired and Weird, which is like a variety style podcast. It's a comedy podcast, but it's a chit chat thing, kind of like we do here. Mm-hmm. I love podcasts. I love spoken word. I've always listened to it, especially
that's what I grew up on.
Especially when it's like late at night and you feel kind of lonely, or you're driving and you're alone, and then you put on a couple buddies just having fun, and you're like, this is fun. This is so much better than listening to the same song 80 times.
Right.
So that's why I kind of grabbed. It's like, one day, if the technology let me, that'd be fun. I've always thought it would be fun to be on the radio, kind of thing. I like to talk, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
But the podcast is kind of us chit-chatting, having fun. We do Would You Rathers, which is a fun game where you give them two options and you kind of just improv about it. We have dad jokes. We review movies. Nice. We do all sorts of fun stuff in Wired and Weird. But on our Patreon, which you can give us $5 a month and support the show, which we really appreciate for our weirdos.
Yes.
We go to special different places, lakeside, and we do our podcast live. And do like a funner, spicier, go deeper into our personal lives and tell more stories kind of thing. And so many people will try to walk up and they'll wave at us. They'll just see us sitting side of a lake with a bunch of microphones and headphones on doing something, and they'll still want to walk up. And
isn't that weird?
It's so bizarre with your person coming in, just wandering in. It's like,
right?
Hi.
Like, I've kind of like.
At least they're drinking here.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, at a park, like, we were at Lake
usually
Aberdeen.
They're probably drinking there, too.
Well,
if you're Lake Aberdeen, they're probably doing meth.
Robbed at needlepoint.
Yep. It's funny. I listened to that on the way up here.
Oh, yeah?
I looked at your YouTube one, your first set.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So I wanted to just refresh myself on some of your stuff.
That's cool. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Jeremiah Hughes Comedy.
And you have another subscriber. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. My YouTube is very pitiful. It's okay.
It's okay. I mean,
I'm in it for the live shows. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well,
you recorded your set from Raymond, too.
Yeah.
Are you going to throw that one up there?
I record everything. Mm-hmm. I try not to release too much of my stuff that I actually work with paid, so that there's some allure to come see me. Mm-hmm. The stuff that I release is not retired, but it's stuff that I don't usually do anymore. It's stuff that I don't. Maybe I'll pull out every once in a while, but it's not part of my usual, because I host for 15 minutes at this point in time. I can feature and stuff like that, but I don't often. Okay. I'm usually just an MC, which is fine. I've only been doing comedy a year and 3 months.
Oh, really? So
yeah,
that long? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm new into the game. I started April in 2021. No, excuse me. That's when everything opened up, yeah.
Yep.
April 2021 was when I started. April 12th, 2021 was the day that I first did that open mic that I was talking about, that we never fired that story, actually.
See,
I did an
joys
open
of having
mic.
two people with ADHD.
Yeah, it's all good. So I did that open mic that day. Did well. You know, even Reddit was like, well, you know, he did pretty stinking well. You know, it was a good crowd. Good job. Mm-hmm. And then I uploaded my next couple cents. I'm like, we don't care, dude. Don't do this every time. You know, kind of thing. So I get it. But yeah. So I've only been doing it a little bit of time, but I've been doing very well for how little amount of time. And I'm a humble guy, so I don't want to be like, I'm great, you know. Yeah. But a lot of people come up and they're like, how long have you been doing it? And I'm like, you know, a year. Mm-hmm. And they're like, whoa, keep doing it. And
awesome.
I'm a pretty big screw up in my life. I feel like most comics are. And I've been good at things. I am good at snowboarding. I was a good wrestler. Mm. I'm good at things, you know.
Right.
I've worked customer service for 10 years. I'm good at that.
Yep.
You know, I can do things. But I had to work really hard at getting good at them. There's never been one thing in my life where they're like, this kid's got it. He's really good at this, you know?
Me neither.
But, dude, when I did comedy, that was the one thing that people were like, you're pretty good at this.
Nice.
And that's what kept me wanting to come back. And I'm no Seinfeld. I'm no Chappelle. I'm no Rodney Dangerfield. But the fact that people are like, oh, yeah, you're naturally pretty funny. Mm-hmm. And I look back in history, and I hid behind humor all the time. Yeah. That's all I had was like, and what made me realize how much I try to make people laugh just in my normal life is like an absurd amount. And I didn't realize that I'm such a whore for laughs.
Yeah.
You know, that like I love making people laugh. I do it all the time. I remember one of my earliest memories was me putting on my aunt's glasses, the same aunt that I made the things for.
Oh, yeah.
I put on my aunt's glasses and I'd act like her. And I'd be like, oh my God, you know, and the family would fall over laughing, dying. And I was like, oh, this is good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've always kind of been like that. But comedy, in hindsight, you're like, yeah, I was a funny guy. But never at the moment was I like, I've had to have comics go, yeah, you're funny. I'm like, I'm funny?
Yeah, right.
But it's obvious to everyone else. When I went up to my closest friends, I'm like, am I funny? They're like, what? Yeah. I mean, why are you, this is weird. Why are you asking me that? Yeah. But I was like, I don't know. But then I was talking to my girlfriend, which is a very introverted woman. Mm-hmm. She's a kind woman, beautiful woman, but does not look for laughs, you know? And she was like, I could go through the whole day without getting a laugh. I was like, dude, I don't know if I could make it through a day without making someone laugh. I'd go out of my way and just trip on the street, or whatever, just to make a guy in a window go,
yeah.
I mean, I was on the little Zoom thing, practicing jokes before I even did stand-up. That sucks, by the way. I hate doing the Zoom comedy. It's so hard, dude. Because people will watch it on mute, and comedy is all about getting live reaction, you know? Because it's about pacing. They'll watch it on mute, so you can't hear them laugh or anything going on. Right. So you can't hear any response back. Yeah. So the pacing's all different.
Right.
So if, you know, I'm like telling a joke, like that needlepoint joke, you know, if, you know, it's getting rough out here. You know, the other day I was robbed at needlepoint.
Yeah.
That doesn't translate over a screen because there's a little bit of a lag and they're watching it on mute. Then you give your natural laugh pause. And then you're like, wait, now I'm off because now they're
and
out.
Then they laugh.
That pacing is different. You watch people that do most Zoom comedy, it's a different, at least from what I've seen, it's very new. Yeah. But it seems like they don't really wait for laughs. Like when I practice, I leave like you know, at least for a little tee-hee because it's a punchline. You expect to get a laugh, especially if it's your paid act. You should be getting laughs on your punchlines, even if that's at least where they should be. You know, so you have like a delivery and then a pace and then you start again. But it seems like at least with Zoom, I can't figure it out. It's not. Maybe I just don't have the will for it. But the live reaction of having a live audience of people looking at you and laughing at you, that doesn't. Not for me. It's not the same.
Yeah. There's something. Even just like stepping on a stage, like just being on the stage, is like gives you kind of a sense of like
the anxiety before it.
Just
like
awesome.
It's really similar to wrestling where it was a love-hate relationship with the nerve-wracking, gut-wrenching anxiety before a match. Where you're looking at the guy, you're about to go out and try your hardest to pin to the ground. And he's like, oh yeah. And you're like, oh yeah. And you're scared inside. You know, everyone always is a little bit, you know, like some people are just cocky and they're like, oh, I'm going to kick this guy's butt or whatever.
I'm going to kill you.
I had a lot of self-doubt, you know, so I was like, oh, geez, you know, but I'm trying to look tough. And, you know, you're looking at this guy and you feel all really scared, like so scared. You're like, oh, I feel like I'm going to pee a little bit. That type of scared. I always hated it in the moment, but I find myself getting myself in that situation all the time. So I must like it, you know?
Well, and once you get past that first little bit, then it's like, this is nothing.
I think it's a form of addiction, just being like anxious all the time, you know?
Probably is.
Does something up here, I don't know. But I snowboard, which you're constantly terrified snowboarding because you're
me too.
You should be. At least if you're not, then you don't respect how dangerous it is.
First,
I see some dudes like, I'll do a backflip off this thing, and they can't snowboard for the rest of their life. They always end up breaking something, and they have to stop. I want to snowboard when I have gray hair.
Yeah.
I like doing it. You know, it's a
fun.
lot of fun. And I can do jumps. I can do a little cute spin. I'm not like up there doing grinds.
Yeah, no
stuff,
grind rails.
You know?
No
I can mob. I can go fast. I have a tracker. I can
nice.
go 45, 50 miles an hour on a board. But when you're any point past that, you're like, when you're going 45, you're like, this is not a good idea.
I can hurt myself.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. If you crash, you're like really hurt, you know? And it's kind of like not the smartest idea. Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was night skiing. So we all went, first time ever going night-boarding. And
that's different, too, because your goggles do different things. And it's icy because it gets cold at night.
So where were we at? We were at Hood. And we were coming down, and there's this one path that you take, kind of cuts around back over and then back into the main run. And as we were going around, my friends went around the corner, and as I started going, I started to go like at the wobbles. So I tried to stop, but then my board just went.
And
so I
chopped
fell down.
it up. Oh boy!
And I fell on my face, and I spun around, and I just both my legs right around the tree, like right at the knees, and just wham.
Break anything?
No, didn't break anything, and it didn't hurt. I was just like, did anybody see it? Nope, good. All right, I'm up and I'm going.
Dude, I took this little girl out one time, dude. I felt so bad, man.
Little kids are the worst, though, on the mountain. Especially the ones that are, like, entitled.
Man, I was on Crystal Mountain. It was my first year.
Oh, that's a sucky mountain to go boarding on anyways. It's
all
for skiers.
I was so new, and it was snowboarding. If you don't make it all the way through a cat track, which is a flat part of the area, you have to unstrap and, like, walk. Yes. And it sucks, dude. And it's so long, and it's in the snow, and it's tiring, and you're sweaty. And then you get cold because you're sweaty. It sucks. So I was just good enough to where I really couldn't stop super well, but I could get cooking enough to get through it maybe once out of the day, you know? And so I'm like, every time I'm like, I'm going to make it this time, you know? And I was ready to go. There was a good spot, and then this little, dude, I'm bad at gauging ages, but maybe 7-year-old little girl. Little girl, like, little, hi, how's it going? You could pick her up and carry her around. Yeah. Is on skis, which is impressive. But also...
Yeah.
Where's the mom or dad or anything? Like, it was just a little girl. And so I was get cooking, right? And I'm watching this little, I'm not being, what's the word? Unaware.
Yeah.
I'm not being unaware.
Aware of your surroundings.
I'm watching her. I'm like, she's going left, right. So I'm trying to get past her because I'm going really fast at the edge of not being able to control myself, which one of the rules of the mountain is stay in control, you know.
Yep.
But I'm trying to make it through here. I'm good. You know, the rules don't apply to me. I'm trying to slip through here. And then she goes left, right, left, right in front of me. And I go, look out! And I dive, right? I do a baseball slide into home, and I miss her. She's like right here, right? And I go, whew! And I look back, and she's hanging over my snowboard like, ah! And I'm like, oh my God. And I look back and I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm so sorry. And she's fine. She's a little girl. She's like, dude, that hurt. And I skied off. And then there's this big, scary Russian or Eastern European guy with that accent I don't want to say because Ukrainians get really mad when especially nowadays, but they always did.
Oh.
They don't like when you mix them all up.
Oh, okay.
There'd be, a cannery in Westport. They get a bunch of different European people through all the time. They'll come through and work like 6 months, crazy hours, and go back.
Yeah, because they're in the boats.
But there would be a couple Ukrainian dudes that'd come in, and I'd be like, are you Russian, dude? They're like, we're not Russian. Do not call us Russian. Ooh. And I'm like, never mind. Right. I'm never going to do that again. I'm so sorry.
You learn real quick when something like that happens.
Yeah, I'm like, I got it. That's because as an American, sometimes you forget that there's other beef out there, you know? That, like, stuff we don't even know about, so... Anyways, Eastern European type guy was like, fuck you. Just out of nowhere, he skied up and was like, fuck you, because he saw what happened, and she got up and skied off, and he's like, fuck you. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. You know? And he's like, I'm not sorry, fuck you. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to be
That's
swearing.
right, I can bleep him.
Cool. Because that's really what he said. It was terrifying. Yeah. He's a big guy. He's an older guy, so, I'm a young guy, so naturally you have
accent, that really strong. Just
really so I start unstrapping my board, right? Because I'm like, this guy's going to fight me, and I don't want to be on like and he's on skis.
Yeah.
And the side of a snowboard. He
has a tactical advantage.
At this point, I'm thinking more fight or flight than like be nice. So I'm thinking this is a giant knife, So I unstrapped and I grabbed my board like that, and I wasn't like swinging it at him, but I was like, and he just started sliding away, looking at me, and he was like, "F you," one last time, and skied off. And I was the rest of the day. I was like, this guy's just going to come out of left field and pow! Just clean me up, dude. But he never did, which I was like, whoo! Because the little girl was fine. I mean, it was totally fine. The parents weren't around. I don't think they care at all. But, yeah.
That's a scary experience, like having something like that happen.
I had another reverse thing happen where I was later in my snowboarding career where I know how the mountain goes and stuff. I was going down this intermediate hill, right? People know what a blue hill is. You shouldn't bring beginners on a blue hill. They'll get in the way and stuff like that.
Story along the lines of that. The first time I ever went snowboarding, a friend who was very experienced, 20 years in it, we got to the mountain, and first time, don't even know what we're doing. He meets up with his friends. He didn't know we were going to be there, and goes, "Oh, sweet. I'll go up with you guys." So he turns to us and go, "Okay, this is how you turn. This is how you turn this way. This is how you stop. Bye." And just, effed off.
I hear that actually a lot. I hear that from a lot of people that go, "I hate snowboarding. I hate skiing. The first time was terrible." And I go, "Well, did the first person take you up on a black diamond? Did the first person just leave you alone? Did they help you at all?" No.
And that's what happened is like I went up. I did the intermediate one as my first. I didn't go to the bunny slope. I was, halfway up. I could do that.
Yeah.
Got kind of my bearings, but then I decided to go up to the top. And when I got up there, I was like, I can't do this. So I unstrapped and I walked down.
You're a snowboarder.
Snowboarder. Yes.
I knew you were cool.
Yeah.
Just kidding, skiers.
Snowboarding is so much better than skiing.
I like it better, but I also have always rode skateboards and rode longboards. Skateboarding is one thing I've always wanted. I'm wearing a Vans hat. I've always wanted to be a good skater, dude. I always think it's so cool, Thrasher and shit.
I almost hurt myself why I quit. Like real bad.
Yeah, I was never really good at it. I could never land a kickflip. I could ollie pretty decent, and I can always ride. I can ride really well. I could ride through bowls. I liked riding. I was like, I just like riding around up and down the ramps, and riding down hills was a lot of fun. So I gravitated towards longboards.
Rock.
Dude, I skinned my whole back one time.
Oh no,
that's a whole nother crazy. I got all sorts of crazy stories. We have a section in our podcast called Story Time, where every episode we tell a crazy story that happened to us. Just because I've done a lot. Not that I'm like a really cool, mysterious guy, but I've just gotten myself in all sorts of hijinks and stuff, and. That happened. I was bombing down Hospital Hill in Aberdeen. I don't know if you know where that is.
I know exactly where that is.
With no shirt on a longboard. I've been riding longboards my whole life. I do the skid cool thing. I know what I'm doing. I'm a teenager. I know everything.
Yep.
And my trucks were too loose. I got the speed wobbles, and I biffed it hard. Probably, now that I know how fast things are with snowboarding, probably about 20 miles an hour. I was going really fast. No helmet. A speaker in my hand, sunglasses on, and I hit I didn't even hit a rock, really. What really happened was I got the speed wobbles, and I'm like, do the whole thing, try to slow down. I'm like, I'm not slowing down. I'm going to bail out in the grass. And I tried to get over to the curb, and then I got, what wheel bite is. The board hit the wheel, and that's like an emergency brake. You'll just get thrown off it. And so I got thrown into like the dusty dirt side of the road, and it was a bunch of dirt and rock in my back, but I skinned my whole right side of my back down to my butt cheek. My elbow and my knee were like raw, really bad. And I hit the ground so hard that I rolled one time and popped back up and landed on my feet and ran it out.
Whoa.
And I had so much adrenaline going. I remember going, woo, I love pain. Just being a dude, being a dum-dum,
You say douche, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. Just being a douche, just kind of like that weightlifter, like, yeah. And I didn't realize how bad I hurt myself. And my buddy, Keyshawn, rolled up behind me, and he was like, dude, you're back. And I was like, and I looked back, and it was just pink all the way back. And and then I could feel the wind hitting my back. And I was like, oh, this is bad. And then that was a whole thing. It took like 7 days for it to heal all the way and stuff.
I did one kind of like that. Used to be a dishwasher, and I was late for work. So I grabbed my bike before I had my license. So I was running down this hill, and I was going probably about 35, and I was trying to get to work. And there's this spot in Raymond, you know, where like with the by where McDonald's is, the storage units.
Yeah.
There used to be trees there, and those trees caused the pavement to bubble up because of the roots. And I knew
I hate a root bubble, dude.
And if you hit it right, it's fine. Like you can.
I biffed it off so many root bubbles, man.
And that's where this went. I hit the first one, I was fine, and then the second one, because I gained speed as I came off that hill. Second one I hit, as soon as I hit the bottom of it, my handlebars went like that, and I went, uh-oh. And it went, and I lit like that, and I slid probably like 5 feet. From here to here, both arms just peeled off. The rocks and crap all up in there. Like, all my shirt was like peppered. And I was like, ooh, almost ripped off a nipple. That was like real close.
Oh my gosh. You'd be a legend. Only one nipple?
Yeah, I know, right?
That sounds like a pirate name. Oh, there goes one nipple over there.
My first D&D character is a dwarf named Fergus Nipplecheek.
There was a girl when we went to high school that the rumor was that she had no nipples on her boobs.
Interesting.
And I was always intrigued by the no nipple.
I was
like, I gotta see that
thing.
I was always like, I wouldn't mind seeing that boob. Just to see if, not only to verify my suspicions, because everyone was suspicious.
Yeah.
But
it's an anomaly. It's like,
what is that? Like, is it a mannequin? Would I be like, that's pretty good? Or would I be like, ugh?
There was a comedian that brought out like.
Does that exist? Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
No nipples?
Yeah.
Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, I'm
sorry to you if you don't.
Yeah, that comedian brought out, like, you know, they blur it, but they just blur the nipple.
Right.
It's like, that's not all we want to see. It's like, that's the equivalent of that is me pulling it out and just covering up the hole. It's like, you can't see anything.
Yeah, just the head.
Yeah,
you know?
You can see everything.
That'd be preferable, honestly. You know, and you'd be like, oh, it adds at least an inch with the blur.
Right, yeah.
You take the blur away.
You don't know, yeah. If you blur it, then you're like, oh, it leaves the imagination.
I think personally, I mean, to each their own. Maybe a little more allure is needed with a penis. Maybe you need a little mystique behind it. Maybe you need maybe a blurred penis is better. I don't know.
I mean, it is pretty offensive. Or abrasive. It's abrasive.
It's like
it's abrasive.
It's such a strange body part. You know, it's the only thing that just like
hangs there. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very
seems in the way.
And it's very sensitive.
You think the way evolution would go, like a small penis would be supreme because you'd be able to run and do stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want the big thing getting caught in the brush and stuff, you know?
Well, the Celts and that little pouch that they have in front of their...
Is that where they kept their wiener?
That was for when they were running, and they could... Yeah, it's because so you wouldn't have that going, like, happening. Because it kept it all secure, and then it was protected. Isn't that weird?
I want to get a kilt now.
Oh, I own a kilt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, see, I don't...
Do you have that function?
No.
Oh.
No, but I mean, you got to go, like, traditional, and you don't wear anything underneath of it.
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, you go nothing. There was a band, I think I talked about it on, I think it was our last one, or one of them. This band from Seattle, and the guy wore a kilt, but he kept trying to put his leg up on the speaker, but he kept pulling it back, like, really fast, because there were some teenagers in the front. And I was like, well, I mean, you were getting into it, but you kept not doing that. And he was like, oh, well, you know, I wear it traditionally, so I didn't want to be like teabagging these kids. Like, oh, okay. Made me aware of a lot of different things. Like, oh yeah, I shouldn't be up on that ladder.
When you were a little kid, did you ever just see, this is gonna sound weird. Have you ever seen like when you were a little kid, like a dick in the wild?
Yeah.
Where you're like, whoa,
yeah.
Like where it shouldn't be, like walking down the street and you just see a dick, you're like, whoa,
mm-hmm.
Whoa, you know.
I knocked on someone's door and there was like a big old rip in his pants and he was just hanging out and like I'm trying to talk to him, but I'm like I can't not look down. Just hanging out like, oh my god.
There's this funny memory that me and my best friend Anthony Beisel, we grew up best friends from the 3rd grade on. We're still good buddies. We hang out all the time. Very, very lucky to have a friendship last so long. And we saw our first live boob together. And we lived in trailer parks that were side by side. So he lived in trailer park one longer, and then I lived in arguably maybe the little nicer of the 2 trailer parks. I mean,
I know which one it is.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes,
Rosewood Manor, baby?
Yep.
Okay.
I know which one it is.
Very shameful that you know that. Now I feel judged.
I mean, I don't want to say I'm better by living in Raymond, but I mean...
Dude, it was humble beginnings. I wasn't like bottom of the bottom, but it was I was pretty embarrassed to have people drop me off. Yeah.
All the time.
I actually had people drop me off at the end of the block on a corner house, and I'd walk into the yard and pretend like it was my house and wait for him to leave, and then I'd walk to the trailer park. I'd be like, I walked home, it's fine. Because when the kids noticed that you were that poor, they treat you different, you know? Mm-hmm. And I tried to keep that facade. Like, I worked to buy, like, Nike clothes and stuff, so I'd always have, like, cool clothes, so I, like, would fit in. Because in high school, it was all, you know, you couldn't be the poor kid, you know, or anything. But I had free lunch, and I didn't have to pay for sports or anything like that, you know, kind of thing. So, you know, we weren't, like, bottom of the bottom. At one point, my family was doing okay. But divorce was not good to my family. That was what happened, was divorce, you know.
Yeah. And
together, my family made enough money, but then my mom whatever happened with my family, my mom was out on her own, and that's when I was in the trailer park.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Long of the short is that is we're walking down our trailer park, and we're just hanging out. You know, it's dark out, and the front window there's like an older Hispanic lady, like Sebastian's mom, right?
Okay.
Like we know this lady, and she's like 50, you know, and we just see a couple long saggy tits, and we're like, whoa, and she sees us, she's like, oh, you know, and shuts the things, and we referred to it as totally awesome, but not really, but kind of, sort of, but not really awesome, but nasty, because those were our first live boobs, and we were like, not bad, you know, like, I mean, we were like young. I keep saying 7 because I'm bad at gauging ages, but we were young kids, you know, enough to like boobs.
You weren't teens yet. You were tweens.
We couldn't get our hands on any pornography or anything, and you know, so we're like.
I mean, you did grow up in a trailer park.
Girls are cool, you know, because we didn't have.
You had the woods for that.
Yeah, we didn't have like in the trailers. We didn't have like internet or anything like that, you know. So, you know, we were like, well, that was pretty cool, you know, like that was pretty cool, but not really, because it was Sebastian's mom, but kind of cool, but not really, but kind of cool, you know.
I got a worse one than that.
Oh boy, that was non-family member. We've all walked in on a.
Well, this wasn't us walking in. This was we were we were in a hotel room and we were watching. I think it was when Last Comic Standing first came out.
Nice.
So it was like first or second season.
You got a tattoo right there too.
Yes, I do. I got a few.
Nice.
I got that one.
Good spot.
That was my first one.
I feel like this is a really hip spot to have a tattoo.
That hurts.
It's like really trendy.
That one, and then I have that one.
Nice.
That one my brother drew.
And then
I have those two.
I have a couple. I'm embarrassed of all my tattoos.
Oh, yeah?
I have 3 that I don't like, and I just went 3 strikes and I'm out. I clearly can't stick with this tattoo thing because. Like, I'm agnostic. I'm not even Christian or religious, and this is like a Bible verse on my arm.
Is it Jeremiah
29:11. This is like what I was. It's cute because it's like what I was named after.
Oh, okay.
So I know the verse. You know, it's like, for I have plans for you, plans for hopes in a future, or something like that. Something all cute.
I can look at it right here. I have a thing on here.
That
is a famous. Like that's a. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, when my parents named me, they were like, well, we'll give him a name that means hope. And then my middle name's David.
Okay.
So it's a very biblical name. When people see my name, they go, real biblical? I go, it's Jeremiah David. You know, like...
Yeah. See, but even though, like, I'm pretty religious, but I wouldn't go right to there.
You'd be surprised how many people just right off the cuff when they see my full name say that. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really interesting. And, you know, having the name Jeremiah, I get some weird encounters with names. You know, like, I met a Jeremiah one time. And I'm like, you met one right here. I'm right here. We're not like an anomaly. It's just a semi-strange name.
It's a longer name.
It's a name everyone knows, but not many people know a Jeremiah.
They probably do, but they usually go by Jerry or Jay or...
Yes, and people try to give me Jerry or Jeremy.
Could be Maya, you never know.
I got Maya as a kid. That was when I was a kid.
See, that's a weird one of like, I don't feel like that one translates.
I know, but I don't feel like a Jerry or a Jeremy.
Yeah.
I go by Jer. People call me Jer. That's fine. Or
Jay.
Jay. I'm fine with that. Don't call me Jerry.
Jerry.
I do not.
You don't look like a Jerry.
I do not feel like a Jerry, and I will not answer to Jerry.
Jerry works at like a telemarketing company.
Especially as a comedian, like that's not gonna work. There's already Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, so then you're already competing with the best Jerry
I'm not
in the
Jerry.
business.
I'm no Jerry. I don't feel like a Jerry. I just don't got Jerry vibes. So it's funny because that wasn't even the original choice for my name.
Oh, interesting.
My original name was supposed to be Joshua.
Okay.
But my cousin Joshua was born in February, and I was born in April, and my parents told my I guess, aunt and uncle would be how that works, family works, their plans, and they were like, yeah, we like that. We named him Joshua, too. And they were like, what? No. That's what we were going to do. And they're like, they're both Joshua. And I'm like, no. And to be fair, whatever.
Yeah.
To each their own. That's the story I heard. So who knows how
my
real
dad has the same kind of story, too.
all that is. But then they were like, we like Jeremiah. Let's go with that. And so it's a second choice name.
Interesting.
But Jeremiah's a name where you don't know many of them.
No, not really. I know. So you're actually only the second one that I know.
Yeah, but it's weird because everyone knows the name.
Yeah.
No one's like, I've never heard Jeremiah before. Because Jeremiah was a bullfrog is big. Right. Everyone always sings that to me. Stop with the Jeremiah was a bullfrog. We know. We've heard it a million times. Yeah. The song is Joy to the World. And in the beginning, he just ruins our name for no reason. He's just like, Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Joy to the world, everybody. Everyone's happy except for Jeremiah's now.
Yeah.
Because my name in middle school, my nickname that everyone called me was Ribbit.
Oh, God.
Because bullfrogs ribbit.
Oh, man.
That's not good for a kid's self-esteem growing up, calling him a bullfrog. No. Mr. Perry was brutal. He called everyone nicknames, though. Mine stuck for,
I never had a nickname like that. I tried to go by Duke one time, I remember. Because remember the Mighty Ducks cartoon? Where they were like superheroes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Duke was the best one. He had the laser sword and the eye patch. And I was like a week in school, I was writing my name as Duke on there. The teacher was like, you need to stop that. That is not your name.
But yeah, I went by Maya when I was a little kid, and I remember there's a defining moment when I went from Maya to Jeremiah. Mm-hmm. Because I was even enrolled in school as Maya Hughes. It was just what everyone called me. I'm hi, Maya, I'm a little kid. Right. I think it's when Jimmy went to James or whatever. It's like a weird nickname transition to my, I'm Jeremiah, or whatever. And that was in the third grade. When I was enrolling into the third grade, I was enrolled as Maya Hughes. And so when they called Maya Hughes, I didn't raise my hand. I was like, man, he's not here. That guy's dead, And then there was is there anyone here that I didn't call? The teacher's very obviously, as an adult's perspective, he's like, is there anyone here that I didn't call? And I'm like, he's like, what's your name? I'm like, Jeremiah Hughes. I'm here. And he's like, oh, my mistake, sir. And he was very polite. Mr. Ogren was really cool. Nice. But I was very sassy about it. I was like, yeah, not Maya. Sorry. I'm a grown man now. I'm in the third grade, okay?
See, and I went the opposite. I went from Michael to Mick.
There you go.
Yeah. And Michael's good, but I always got Mikey. I got Mick.
Did you feel like a Michael?
Michael, I like the name. I do like the name. I think it's a good,
Does it fit you?
Yeah. I feel like it does.
Some people don't feel like their names.
No, I'm not Michael Jordan.
I feel like a Jeremiah. I feel like this is what a Jeremiah would be. It's like a weird, jumbly name. So I have a jumbly brain, I don't know. I feel like I represent Jeremiah as well.
Yeah, I think so. You
a lot of Jeremiahs I met are African American.
They're what?
They're African American.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like most of them.
Actually you say that, yeah. I can... That's
Sweet.
Usually where you hear it, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they say that they read my name on comedy, and then they see me, they're like, oh, we thought you were black. I was like, oh, well, whatever.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never actually thought about that.
Yeah.
But it's funny how, certain...
If you Google
names are more in different minorities and things, too, because, we get Chad, Stan, Dave,
Yeah.
Those are all just the whitest of the
John,
white names. John. Smith,
Peter.
The last name Smith is...
What would be one name you could not stand naming your kid?
Oh.
That just, that name just annoys you.
There was one.
Plug your ears if you have this name.
My wife picked it out, and I can't remember it. Oh, but it was awful. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't remember what it is. Oh, it's a girl's name, too. Yep.
You don't have any name. You're just like, ugh.
No, not really. No, not like right off the top of my head. No, I can't think of.
I haven't met one cool hunter.
Hunter
is like,
Hunter isn't good.
No good. I don't like the hunter.
Usually Ethan isn't too great either.
Oh, Ethan.
Ethan's
that guy's a jerk. Ethan's never cool. You know, I don't think I've met a real Ethan.
My daughter goes to school with an Ethan, and he's.
I met a Tristan that was cool, but Tristan sounds like a name where it sounds too much like Trisket.
Yeah. Skylar is another one.
He was white too. He was a cracker.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Skylar was one that I don't care for either.
Skylar, yeah, I could see that. That's like the classic white kid name, like Tanner.
Yeah, like it's a rich kid.
Yeah.
Like
Brandon's got a bad rap lately. The name Brandon. That's the new Karen, you know.
Is it?
I don't know. Because every time I see the name, I think of Let's Go Brandon.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff.
Because I see, at least in Aberdeen, I see those on flags on the backs of trucks all the time.
Our areas are horrible for all of that.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't even know what it was for a while. I'm like,
me neither.
NASCAR or something?
The only thing, like, with that whole thing is whatever, but it made me, like, sad for humans when somebody called in to Biden, whatever, and then said that to him. And then he said, yeah, let's go, Brandon. And I was like, oh, man, that's real disrespectful, man. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you might not like him, but, you know, he's
still our president.
He's the guy in charge.
I mean, let's go Team America. You know, I don't want to see anyone fail.
No, I'm like, man. Well,
I have my preferences, but, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
Which I'm not revealing. I'm being an enigma.
Yeah, see, I have no opinion. I respect the people in charge, but I have no opinion about any of that.
I learned a fun fact that... Oh, should I say this? Maybe I'll get murdered.
We can always cut it.
I learned a fun fact. What's our First Amendment?
Is that speech?
The freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
We are ranked number 44 in the world in free speech. Ouch. Those are not good numbers. We do have restrictions on our speech.
Yeah.
And which is like, I'm not saying take everything away or anything, but that was just a fun thing where I was like, kind of makes you go,
I didn't know that either.
I work with words a lot, I guess. So,
yeah.
You know,
well, like a podcast is where I get most of my information, and most of the ones are usually comedy, so like they don't.
I think I learned that through a podcast.
Did you?
I can't remember where. I listened to actually like informational podcasts too, like Stuff You Should Know is really cool.
Oh, that's a good one. My brother saw them live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Josh and Chuck. They're great.
In 19, I think is what it was, or 18 or 19, one of those.
They were the first people I've ever heard of doing a live pod, where I'm like, they're doing like they just sit on a stage and do a podcast to people, and they're like, yeah, people love it. And now everyone's doing it and stuff, so they're like, at least in my opinion, a real trendsetter, because they're the first people I ever heard of doing a live pod.
Yeah.
So how many people are usually here?
Usually it's three of us.
Okay.
Yeah, me and then Tyler and Calvin. And Calvin just got his wife tested positive for COVID. So sucks.
There's another little round going around.
The new one, I guess, is called long COVID, and there's no test for it.
There's a new COVID?
A new strain.
Oh,
yeah, a new thing. I'm like, oh, man.
Long COVID?
Long COVID. Probably because it lasts forever.
It's gonna Oh, sorry.
Again, we can cut it. It's fine.
Cool. That was inappropriate. That was an irreverent one. Oh, boy.
Well, we're actually getting close to time, though.
Cool.
About an hour or so.
I'm full of,
trying to keep it a little shorter than 3 hours, because that's my old podcast I did. That's what we did.
Yeah.
Like, we just talked and talked and talked.
I can just keep going. I'm a blathermouth. I can just keep talking. So, yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Plug all your stuff again, too. Let everybody know what your podcast is, where they can find you, and all that.
So, Jeremiah Hughes Comedy on my social medias, which I am forced to have. I didn't have them before or anything like that, but I have them now, and I post like retired bits and stuff like that. Retired bits, not retired.
Yeah.
Sorry, it sounded like I said it, so I wanted to emphasize retired bits on YouTube and stuff like that. Jeremiah Hughes Comedy. You can also check me out at Wired and Weird. Check out our podcast. That's what I'd really appreciate you guys to do. We have a fun time. We really participate with our fans. So if you email us, even if you hate it, email us just to let us know. Because
any feedback is nice.
We'll read it on the podcast. We have a section called Hate Mail.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we love it. We think it's silly.
We haven't gotten you that yet.
Oh, really? We have a section called hate mail. We've never gotten anything bad. It's always what grinds their gears. Because the whole thing is like, do you hate us? Do you hate anything? Get it off your chest. We'll talk about it. We'll riff about it. And so they'll be like, oh, we got one person wrote in and said that they work in an office where they leave like hair on the toilet seat and stuff. And she was like, I just got to get this off my chest. Like, nice. And we kept everything anonymous, but we were like, oh, how gross. We hate that. That person's inhuman. We should burn that place to the ground. And they felt like release in hearing us like just rave about it, So awesome. There's a little release for that. So if you hate the show, email hate mail. But check it out, Wired and Weird. That was a really long-winded plug. But
that's fine, man. That's awesome. Yeah, so check them out, and don't forget to follow all the socials and all the things. And next time, it might be just me again, too. But we'll have another guest on. And thank you again for coming here and taking the time to sit down with me.
Yeah, I got tons of stories. It's a fun time.
And
so
maybe when I try stand-up, you'll have to come and tell
hit
me
me
if
up.
I suck or not.
No, well, we all suck in the beginning, but... You'll do great.
Didn't.
You're a funny
you
guy.
Didn't.
Well, in relativity, I sucked. The crowd just was really receptive, So, but yeah, it's all just a journey, and so just enjoy. If you enjoy doing it, I highly suggest anyone try stand-up comedy. You'll know from trying it, because I was hooked right away. It was a great time. I highly suggest it. I'll be there to support you.
Awesome. I will be there, and probably bomb. I have some real bad jokes.
We've all done it. I like your sense of humor. You'll do fine.
Yeah, I'm like you though. I don't.
The hesitation. Can't take a compliment.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah, it's okay.
Bye.
Wired and Weird.
Beers Per Minute has been presented by Stupid Mythic Forest. New episodes come out on Wednesday at 8 a.m. Don't forget to rate and subscribe so you never miss a thing. Stupid Mythic.